evening, and welcome to this week's Black Mental Health is Black Health. I'm your host, Bronwyn Lucas. And tonight we have an interesting little topic. It's all about self-love, and I'll explain why after we do our breathing. I'll explain why that's a topic I chose. If you're new to the show, we always start out with some deep breathing. Why? It is so cleansing. It allows you to just decompress and maybe take care of some of the cares of the day and just say, "Ooh, woosah," have that woosah moment. So we're going to start with our deep breathing. And now let me tell you, before I even count you in, I'm going to count from 1 to 4 very slowly, and you're going to breathe in slowly and then breathe out slowly. You're going to breathe in so deeply it doesn't just go to your chest. You're going to feel that the air going all the way down into your stomach. You're just going to deep, lung filling breaths. So let's try that, okay? Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. I needed one of those deep breaths myself. About 5 minutes before the show started, I broke my cell phone and I was like, and then it was like, okay, it's gone. Whatever. So tonight we are talking about, I just thought you might not be able to hear me. Let's see. I guess you can hear me. So awesome. So tonight we're talking about self-love, and let me tell you why. It's something that I find people are not doing. Just taking time to love who you are, love who you were created to be. Um, and some people think, oh, well, you mean you want us to be prideful, boastful, arrogant. No, I'm saying that self love is simply about loving the creation that God made you to be. So we're going to look at self love through three lenses: spiritual, the benefits rather through three lenses: spiritual, physical, and mental, or emotional. I'm going to start with the spiritual, and when I'm speaking of the spiritual from a Christian point of view, um, that's the view I'm coming from, and no apologies. So I want to say what I can say about self-love from a Christian point of view. In Mark 12:30 through 31 says, "Love the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength." The second commandment is that you love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. That's why I say loving yourself is a commandment. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. The Message Bible puts those two verses this way. The first is in importance. Listen, Israel, the Lord your God is one. So love the Lord God with all your passion and prayer and intelligence and energy. And there is a second. Love others as you love yourself. There is no commandment that ranks these. Love your neighbors as you love yourself. It's not about arrogance. It's about you deserve to love yourself. I run into so many people who don't in my line of business as a therapist who have trouble doing that. We've talked about self-care, and when I think about it, we need to get to the crux of it, and that's being able to just love yourself. So we're talking tonight about some self-love. I think I may have shared this, but I'm going to share it again when it comes to spirituality and loving yourself. If you can see it, it says there's this triangle, and they call it the joy triangle. J for Jesus, O for others, and Y for you. And the triangle you see has Jesus and others at the top and you at the bottom. And that's how a lot of people view Christianity, and that's how a lot of people view Christianity and loving yourself. And just you should be at the bottom. You are not as good as, and I'm like, that's not how I read that verse. Going back to love your neighbor as you love yourself, because what is implied is that you will love yourself. So, um, we're going to go with the fact that you need to love yourself. So we're going to discount this one. The next one, this is what we often do. We put others above everybody else. Well, I'm showing God love by loving others. So others are on top. And that puts us equal with Jesus. But others are superior. And we do that without thinking about it. Especially women, we want to be caring and giving. We take care of our children. We take care of our spouse. We take care of our friends. We take care of people at work. And you're so busy taking care of others, that they're on top. I don't see that as good either. Here is my version of the joy triangle. Jesus at the top, others and you at the bottom. For me, this lines up with loving your neighbor as you love yourself. That's why they're equal. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And then it leads to Jesus and you can love him better. So that's just one way to look at an example of how you should love yourself from a biblical point of view. Loving yourself, it is important. It is not against God's edict. It's like, oh, well, as a Christian, I need to do this. No, that second and greatest commandment is love your neighbor as you love yourself. Another biblical view of loving yourself will come from Psalm 139:14. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. And the Living Bible says, thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. It is amazing to think about. Your workmanship is marvelous, and how well I know it. So there's nothing wrong with saying, I love myself. I am awesome, and I love me. There is nothing wrong with that. It doesn't have to be egotistical. It doesn't have to be anything. Just love yourself. It's okay. So from a spiritual point of view, I say it's a commandment. From a spiritual point of view, when you love yourself, you're able to take care of yourself. And we're going to talk about how it benefits you mentally and physically to do that. Oh, I forgot to mention, we're doing some new things with the show that might, I'm looking at new formats for the new year for some things that are coming up. So I'm going to try to end it at 30 minutes and not 45. Just because we're working on some things and exciting things to come, I'll be telling you about it, which will include possibly a TV show if I get everything worked out. So I'm playing with time now and to make that happen. So I wanted to mention that early on. But from a spiritual point of view, I hope you see it's okay to say, I love me. When you do that, you're also honoring God. God made you. He knew what he was doing. So it's okay. But what are the benefits to it? A spiritual benefit is that you're closer to God and you're honoring God for making you. He knew what he was doing when he made you. What about some mental health benefits to loving yourself? Can there be any? Yes, they can. Studies show that when you love and appreciate yourself, you can actually decrease your anxiety and depression symptoms because of the positive energy that you're feeling about yourself. It's like, yeah, life stinks, it's horrible, I'm upset, on and on. But I love me enough to know that I am willing to do what it takes to work it out. So that in those times of anxiety and depression, that can be an underlying feeling that can help you. Loving yourself can also improve your self-worth because that's what it says. I'm worthy of good things to happen. A lot of times I see people who have some mental health struggles because of their past. Maybe it was someone who was not loved by their parents. And if your parents are the ones who don't love you, who abuse you, who treat you wrong, it's hard to believe anybody else will love you. And it's hard to love yourself. And then your self-worth can diminish. But when you are at a position where you are able to love yourself, that self-worth will increase, because again, they go hand in hand. I love myself, therefore I'm worthy of good things to happen. I'm worthy of love from others. And if I don't love me, how can I expect anyone else to? So yes, that it will improve your self-worth. Another benefit to loving yourself, another mental health benefit, it can allow you to help heal from hurts and trauma of the past. As I said, so many people don't have self love because of trauma, because of hurt, because of issues and things that have happened so much in their past that it's like it's just impossible to do. When you accept yourself and love yourself, you understand that you didn't cause the hurt, the trauma that happened to you. It can open the door to begin to heal because you will believe that you are worthy of healing. Sometimes it's hard to feel that way. As I said, so much can happen. It was abuse, it was physical abuse, it was sexual abuse, it was emotional abuse, it was bullying that went on, and no one stood up for you. It was, I was always the fat kid and always felt out of place. All of these things can be issues from your past that it's hard to manage, hard to deal with. But when you realize how awesome you were created not to be that person, and love yourself, you will allow yourself to heal because you can say, you know what? I may not have been loved, but I love me. And that is the gateway to healing. Um, Another mental health benefit is it can allow you to accept your true and authentic self. Sometimes we just don't like ourselves. We're into that whole I don't love me, I don't like me, because I'm too this, I'm too that. Once you realize, you know what, I love me, all my flaws, all my mistakes, my warts and flaws and everything, I'm still good. That's who you are authentically. Do you want to have room to change? Yes, we all do. There's always room for growth. I believe that there is room for growth up until the day you die. But accepting who you are now and looking forward to who you'll be in the future. But that acceptance, I love me right now. I may not be where I want to be. I may be 100 pounds more than I want to be. I may be not at the job I want to be. I may not have a job. Whatever that is, it doesn't matter. The true and authentic self, that's only part of you. We so often define ourselves by one part of our life. Some people define themselves by their job, and as long as they have that job, they're good. They're on it. I love me because I'm the boss at my job and I'm managing, 150 people. So I feel good because I know I'm confident. And then that job is gone. Where am I? Where is my competency? But when you love yourself enough to know your true and authentic self, it's not tied to anything. You are who you are. And whatever one thing you're tying yourself to and your identity to, that's only one aspect of you. There's someone here who are mothers. You're a mother, you're a sister, you're a wife, you're an ex-wife, you're retired, you're working. All of those you can wear. We wear so many hats at one time, and not one hat should define you. But loving yourself says, out of all those hats I wear, some are good, some are not. Some fit well, some fit too tight, some just don't fit at all. They're not me. But loving yourself means I'm going to determine who I am, my true and authentic self. I will understand that my true and authentic self has some positive and negatives, but it's all me. Another benefit to understanding and managing your mental health is it can motivate you to move to the next level because you believe you're worth it. I said you can find out who your true and authentic self is, and who that true and authentic self is today can be better the next day, and so on and so on. Sometimes it's difficult to move forward because you don't think you deserve it. But when you love yourself enough, you'll know, oh, I deserve better. I can do this, I can do that. I may not be there now, but I deserve to move forward. And you allow yourself to move forward because you know you are worth it. So when we look at all, there's so many mental health reasons to love ourselves. What about physiological reasons? Are there any? Because I said we're looking at mind, body, spirit, our mental, physical, and spiritual. Let's look at the physical. Can loving yourself impact your physical health? Studies say it does. And one of the reasons is that you will take care of yourself more. When you love yourself enough, oh yeah, you know what? I got to go do this. I have to go work out because I got to make this body better. I may not have taken care of it for X amount of years, but man, it's time to do better. So when you love yourself, you're going to do that. I don't feel like walking today, but I didn't get enough steps in and I got to do it. Oh, I didn't go to the gym for 2 days. All of the things you can say, but oh, no, I totally love myself. So let me get up and do it. When you love you, and that's going to have a positive impact on your physical well being because you believe you're worthy of doing better. When you do that, you're going to take better care of yourself. So it can also lead you to managing your physical health concerns. The older we get, the more physical issues we may have. Well, when you love yourself enough, you realize, oh, the doctor just kind of casually mentioned such and such. I can either ask them more details or I can just say, you know what, I really know what that means and I need to make changes. That is so much easier said than done, that I realize XYZ is going on, so I need to change. Oh, you're telling me my A1C is 5.7 and that's getting close to diabetic range, but it's in my control. That can be the thing that allows you to say, well, you know what? That cookie is gone. That can be the moment you say, well, I'm just going to go throw all the stuff out of the house. And, oh, that's a lot of money I'm throwing away. But if I throw away the cookies, the candy, the whatever, then I love myself enough to know that, honey, the money you're throwing away is far more, is what you're gaining by throwing that money away is far more valuable than the money you're wasting because you're saving your life. So yes, when you love yourself enough, you will make sacrifices for you. It's okay to make sacrifices that will make your self better. It can lead you to know that what I see in the mirror, I can change if I don't like it. I can accept what I see because it's me, but do I have to hold on to it and keep it? No, I accept it. That's me. Oh, but I don't want that me. I want a better me. And that's what you can do. You can tell yourself, I want a better me. And you make that better me because I love me enough to know that the me I am, that's who I am. I accept who I am, and now I'm going to make it better. And as you make it better, um, you can become physically better. Doctors will tell you your mental attitude about whatever is going on health wise can have an impact as well. So if there are physical problems going on in your life and you love yourself enough to know I'm going to do better, then you can do better. And you can physically become better because you believe you can. And part of that belief is I can do this and do this, and you make the necessary changes because you love yourself. The last one on this list is studies. I've read a study that said people who love themselves sleep better. It was interesting how they came up with that. But here's the benefit to sleeping better. There are just so many health benefits to, sleeping better. So if you love yourself enough to take care of yourself enough, then you get more sleep. You get more sleep. You're more productive at work. You're more productive at work. You feel better about yourself. What a positive loop. Yes, it's a loop. So yes, I love me enough to go down. And when you love yourself enough, you can decompress at the end of the day because you can tell yourself, you know what, all that drama that happened today, I can let it go. because I need my rest, because I'm worthy of my rest. So you can see how it just kind of goes. It's that cyclic kind of thing going on. Um, when you love yourself, you can better love others and you can allow others to love you better. I'm going to say that again because it sounds like double talk. It's my thought. When I said it, I was like, let me just make sure. When you do love yourself, you're better able to love others, because what does that verse say in the beginning? Love your neighbor as you love yourself. So when you love you, you're better able to love them, but you're also able to allow others to love you. You're able to receive that love because you know that then that you're worthy of that love. So yeah, accept their love. You can accept their love much better because you love you. Now I talked about the why. Let's before we end look at it. But now how do I do that if you've never done it? And I will say this might not be you. But maybe you have a child, a grandchild, a friend, a sister, a brother, or someone you know who you see they're struggling and you realize, oh, they just don't love themselves. Because how would you know? They speak about themselves in a negative manner all the time. Well, I'm not good enough. Well, you had more opportunity than me. Better things happen for you than happen to me. And it's always, and it's legitimate if this is how they feel. Um, you hear that. So maybe you can share these thoughts with them. The why, the spiritual, physical, and mental, body, mind, and spirit, it helps. And now here are just a few points on how to do that. First, believe that you are worthy of loving yourself. You just have to believe it. If you don't feel it, believe it. I always say we know things in our head and we know things in our heart. Sometimes we have to let the heart and head catch up. I know it. I know that's true. Yes. And then, but I don't feel it in my heart. So, but you begin to believe it in your head until you get it in your heart. Um, Number two, if there are demons from your past that you need help releasing that are stopping you from loving yourself, get help. By that I mean therapy. Don't be ashamed. Everybody has something they may need to let go of. Get the help you need. Because if you were that person who is dealing with abuse, who didn't receive love from a parent, as I say, if your parent didn't love you, oh my gosh, maybe I'm just not worthy of love. So why should I love myself? Get help in managing those demons that may have been there from your past. Start keeping a gratitude journal, but this one is a gratitude journal focusing on loving yourself. 3 times a week, write down, I love me because. I love my size, whatever feet, specific. I love my hair. I love my nose. I love my toes. Tell yourself what it is you love about yourself. Find one thing a day. And even say, well, I don't like this. Who care what you don't like? What do you like? And begin to claim it. It's like, I love my overweight body. I don't need it to always be overweight, but while it's here, I love it. So begin to say and speak that positive. Um, Read daily affirmations. Tell yourself something positive every day. I sell affirmation calendars. Maybe you can get your 2024 affirmation calendar of just positive statements that you can tell yourself daily. Avoid negative self-talk. I'm so this, I'm so that. I can't stand it. Avoid negative self-talk. Speak the positive into yourself. When you find yourself saying what you don't like about yourself, cut it off. And the last part of the how, give yourself the same grace and forgiveness you give others. Going back to loving your neighbor as you love yourself, we sometimes are able to forgive others for their flaws quicker than we can forgive ourselves. We can give somebody the grace and understanding, okay, well, they didn't mean to, they're this, but we don't give it to ourselves. The same grace you give others, the same forgiveness, the same love, give it to yourself. But again, if you can't do these hows, and if you realize, okay, well, maybe I'm okay. I'm just not. If that is you, seek help. But be positive. Tell yourself the positive. Speak the positive to yourself. It was hard work. I ended short because we're trying to do this in a little under 30 minutes, and I'm there. So I have my call to action. I always want to end with a call to action, something you can do. Um, and I see some awful, awesome comments that you know just how important self love is. So when you think of this show, I want you to do this, even if you're already there. Go to the mirror, and in the mirror, tell yourself three positive things. Say them out loud. Look in the mirror and tell yourself. It might be, "Hello, beautiful. You are so awesome. You know, you really got it going on. Um, you really look good in that today. That hairstyle is working for you." Whatever you want to tell yourself. It may be superficial or it may be, "You have overcome so much. I'm so proud of you." But say it out loud. Say three positive things. And guess what the next call to action is? Do the same thing again tomorrow. Yes, speak into yourself. Begin to speak into yourself. Won't cost you a dime. Someone else just said self love is free. It is. It doesn't cost you anything, but it will gain you everything. So speak positivity in yourself. If you have children, if you have grandchildren, begin to teach them to say the positive about themselves. And you begin to say the positive to them. Even if it's that child is missing of everything every day, you find something positive to say and speak into that positivity in their life. And if you're having trouble accepting yourself or loving yourself, reach out for help. If it's someone you know, help them reach out for help. You don't have to do this alone. My last call to action is always vote, vote, vote. Why? What does that have to do with this topic? Laws can be put in effect that can impact your physical, mental, and spiritual well being. You will still love yourself, but there may be laws that really make life difficult. So be an educated voter. Don't just go vote and don't wait until it's a presidential election. We just went through an election cycle here in Texas. Be an educated, aware voter so that you're making a difference in your life and the lives of those who you love. Well, I am Bronwyn Lucas, the transformational therapist, here to help you transform your life into a better life. It can happen. It will happen. So I challenge you today to love yourself and help others get to a place where they love themselves as well. If you're struggling, need some help, reach out. My website is ablecc.org. I may not be the therapist for you. I'm not the therapist for everyone, but I can help you find someone to help you. I am accepting clients and would love to help you or those you love. See you next week. I believe we have one more before the end of the year. Bye now.